What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Resplendent review of Male Corrin. I'll also be going over a lot of the builds that you can run on him in the modern times, and at the end I'll have a special bonus segment regarding his re-refine. So Male Corrin is a Gen 1 sword infantry unit with Yato as his weapon refine, and Male Corrin actually used to be a meta support unit back in 2019 and in the early days of Ether Raids, because Yato gives him +2 to all of his stats, and these are visible stats, the kind of which you get from Fury skill. And then with his weapon refine, he can give +4 to all of these stats in the combat to his support partner. So because of this supportive effect, he was a meta support unit, because back in those days we didn't really have the save skills, the unity skills, and the tanks didn't really have the option of getting the insane supports that they could get now, and there were also not the mythic units which are as strong as the ones that we have now. And Male Corrin really excelled in that aspect, especially because he can stack up enough stats to absorb the debuffs from the chill skills or the shrine debuffs. So the debuffs were really annoying to those Omni tanks, and Corrin could just soak them up, which was really great, and also support them at the same time. But as time went on, we just kept getting even better support units, and it's really hard to justify using Corrin over some other unit who maybe provides you with a more unique effect. It's also the fact that Corrin cannot really give the support to multiple allies at the same time compared to a lot of the other support units. Like Flame can give damage reduction to everyone, not to just the support partner. And you also need to be within 2 spaces, so that is a bit restrictive. And when it comes to being a support partner, you can only have 1 at a time. So for that role, you are competing with Fallen Lilith, who can give you null follow-up, or you're going to be competing with Veluria, who can give you the -2 special cooldown, which is really helpful for a Gale Force team. So asking for ally support for only +4 to all of your stats is definitely a pretty big ask in this day and age right now, when we have absolutely no shortage of really solid and really good support units. And Corrin unfortunately doesn't really stand out much when it comes to the combat, because this weapon is pretty much only support oriented. So in a sea of sword infantry units, Corrin definitely has a tough time. The Resplendent stats are definitely pretty nice if you're going to be building him up for absorbing the shrine debuffs and the chill debuffs in general, so that is always going to be working out for Corrin's playstyle, and can definitely be helpful with some Omni tank or some kind of save tanks that are not really running any kind of skills to take care of the debuffs. And because of how Corrin can function to absorb the debuffs, he does appreciate all of the dragon flowers and the merges to boost up his own stats. And he can also do some cool things if you run him with Halloween Zane, because he can pretty much give those stats to him. So if you want to run Corrin, then he could be run as a support unit, and that's pretty much where Yato Refine tries to take him. So you can run him in Arena with Ardual Infantry 4, and Ardual Infantry 4 in general, even outside of Arena, is a pretty decent skill on Corrin, because it can increase his stats and also increase his HP. So increasing his HP can open up the usage of Sudden Panic and also the Pulse Ties. So you can run Sudden Panic and support your Arena allies, because rally skills are going to be really common. And Infantry Null Follow-Up is a pretty nice support skill that you can provide to your allies, which is now possible because of Ascended Celica. So being a support unit, he can definitely run that. And you can also use him in Ether Raids like the good old days to maybe support an Omni tank. And by running Double Fury, you're pretty much going to be trying to soak any kind of debuffs. Maybe if you're facing someone like Plague Dorothea, or you're just going to be facing a lot of shrine debuffs. So that could help. And again, Infantry Null Follow-Up is something that he can run at higher investments. It's definitely an expensive skill, but Corrin is going to be really liking that as a support unit. And of course, he can run a Link skill so that he can boost up his own stats to soak those debuffs and also support his ally. If you're going to be using him with a tank, then you can just use him with Fortress Defense Res, and this is more so geared towards soaking up the Dark Shrine debuff, which is really bad for a tank. They want that survivability, and you can just run Defense Res Link and run Distant Guard to support your tank. Yato Weapon Refine could be speed refined if you just want to use them in combat, but we just have much better inheritable weapons in my opinion if you want to use them in combat. One of the best weapons that you can give to him if you want to use him in combat is going to be Upfront Blade from Kamui, who is in the 3-star, 4-star pool. And funnily enough, that is Corrin's Japanese name as well. So yeah, if you give him Kamui, then he can get this weapon, which is the sword version of Springy Axe Plus, which basically gives you +5 attack and speed, and also gives you debuff neutralization to your attack and speed. So it's a pretty offensive weapon, which is really great, and you can just run him with a standard build for any kind of sword infantry unit, with Distant Dart, having Speed Smoke 4 for that damage reduction, and Null Follow Up. And you can run Vital Astra more so for the damage output than for the damage reduction, because he cannot really pre-charge it that easily unless you give him some kind of support. So Vital Astra is mainly here to retaliate back with by using Dart and Grit, but it's not exactly a necessity for a high investment Corrin. It's just a thing that you invest into if you love him a lot and you want to have this premium special for him. But other than that, other specials like Ether could also be run on him. You can also use him with Winter Rapier Plus, and this could be run with Attack Speed Unity. So Winter Rapier does have Attack Defense Unity built into it. So when you combine this with Attack Speed Unity, you can get Unity to 3 stats, and you can just get Speed Smoke 4 and Null Follow Up. So this build is an option if you don't really want to run Distant Dart, and you don't really want to function as a distant counter tank. So if you just want to specialize in the melee matchups, then this could be an option. Another option for Corrin is going to be with Attack Speed Ideal and by running a damage reduction skill, and Bonus Doubler can definitely be an option if you just want to boost up your Corrin. And in this case, Fallen Lilith is going to be a fantastic support partner because she can provide him with a Null Follow Up, so you can just get damage reduction out of Spurn and Speed Smoke at the same time. And again, Vital Astra is not something that you really need, but still it can be nice to have just for the damage output and just if you're able to pre-charge it, because we do have option of Infantry Pulse which can support Corrin or even Duo Chrom and Legendary Hector. So all of those options are going to be present, and if you want to use Corrin in the combat, then speed stacking on him is pretty much going to be one of the better ways of doing that, because he does have functional speed stat, and you can of course get weapons like Upfront Blade now, so that makes it a lot easier. If Corrin had more supportive effects, then I think he would have aged to be one of the best Gen 1 units, because support effects can be really useful, but unfortunately he just provided stats. So this is my re-refined Theorycraft for Corrin, and if I had to give him a re-refine, then I would just give him +4 to all of his stats with the Yato instead of giving him +2. So +4 is a bit more modern. And then I would also give him the ability to buff up himself and any ally within 2 spaces for +5 to all of their stats. So we have seen this before on Astrum as well as on Fae, but the difference is that Male Corrin is going to be a lot more support oriented. So for the weapon refine, I would try to give him much better effects so that he can be justified as a support partner. So Bonus Doubler and Null Panic is something that I would like him to give to his support partner, and this is going to be pretty helpful because he is going to be buffing up all stats of the allies with his primary effect. So Bonus Doubler works really well, and then it protects you from the Null Panic, and this can be really great, and it's not really all that broken because you can just have the loud skills or buff ignoring skills, and he should be fine against Corrin's allies. And this is only going to be given to his support partner in the combat, which means that they can still stack up Bonus Doubler from their Slot A and from Sacred Seal, and even from the visible status Bonus Doubler from Astrid and Legendary Eliwood. So this pretty much allows you to make for really stacked up units with Corrin support, but again, we do have counters like Summer Thor, loud skills, and all of that. And for his final effect, he can still give +4 stats to his support partner, but now he can also get that himself in the combat. And I think this could help Corrin a bit more in terms of combat. So again, this weapon Theorycraft that I have isn't exactly more for making Corrin into a combat unit because it's pretty hard for him. Making a unit unique support wise is a lot easier, and that's pretty much what Corrin tries to do with his Yato weapon refine, and it even has the same symbol as his personal skill from Fates. So that's why I tried to go with more of the supportive route with Male Corrin. So let me know what you think about this weapon refine Theorycraft in the comments. I would really like to know that. Make sure to share this video with your friends if they're trying to build up Corrin, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more Fae videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as the weapon refine of Corrin if you're not the support partner. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.